listening to this, this is absolutely insane that it's 2025 and we're actually still dealing with this. Right. So back in 2007 and 8, when a lot of the transgender and gay and all that hate stuff started in, they were targeting certain peoples and communities. Right. And when you look at right up the road here in Hollowell, that's where the owner of this building owns the Liberal Cup out in Hollowell. A lot of concerns were being thrown up. And then people were saying how, oh yes, the Hicks make fun of Hollowell and call it Swallowell because there's a lot of gays. You have Slate's fine dining. Yeah, people have, oh, so what? People have always made comments. No one has a problem with gay people. I think whether you're gay or straight, someone would have a problem with anyone getting right in their face, being flamboyant, or people making out and making public displays that are overly affectionate just to try to make a point. I mean, sometimes you see it and it's just, people are just having a moment, it's just naturally happening, and you look away or you watch if you want. Yeah, not a big deal. When people are being grotesque and purposely being overbearing with those things just to try to get sued or get smacked, they do this all the time. It was actually a really popular marketing scheme with some of these loops and groups. So we're concerned actually mostly about the children being fucked and tortured by some of these punks making the child and animal pornography. So all this noise over the years and people doing this bullshit has really helped some of these criminal organizations, pedo rings, sick punk individuals. It's opened the door, all the allocations and funding, because of these women and men who really hate us want to take advantage of certain things. Yeah, thank you. Hold on. I'm making a video, so. Yeah, just the ones I've been posted on YouTube and Facebook, hoping that common sense is out there somewhere. We're listening to Mills Maine governor and Trump get into spat over policy on trans athletes. With what we've been dealing with here over the years, absolutely disgusting. This is still happening. Yeah, the sick punk who has my children, who's been torturing and fucking my children, they make animal and child pornography. Yeah, you know what? They play stupid and people will say, oh, get a lawyer. Go to the cops. Can you get a lawyer and see if those kids have been abused? So we've been telling them for years how they know how not to leave marks. And the torture and the pain some of these children go through with things that don't leave a mark is absolutely insane and crazy what some of these kids have been going through. I don't even like to think about it. It makes me sick. Yeah, you almost get drunk on sickness. It slurs my speech. I'll start to tremble and shake. I can't help it. I'm a human being. So fortunately, I have worked with a lot of people over the years and therapists, because I dealt with a lot as a child too, with different abuse. Yeah, lots of games. Pigs being drugged and taken away and brought back. Not just the pigs though, but for some reason when Dad talks about it, he just says it was the pigs. Absolutely disgusting and horrible. I know, well, people will look at it as though, too, they get upset with us sometimes as though we're protecting drug trafficking or sickos. Like, yeah, no, that's just our family, and we do the best we can in these environments, and we're trying to protect our children from being fucked and tortured and abused, and we're not doing a very good job. If you can't tell, they're getting away with it still. And we're trying to show people, because we know these schemes, this has been going on for a long time. They're just different fucking faces doing the same sick fucking crimes, being protected by the same fucking sick people in these communities, covering up years of bullshit and drug trafficking. Other things too, yeah. What's that? I did see that in Gardner, that arrest they just made. So Gardner's right up the road too by Hollowell. Yeah, it goes Augusta, then you go through Hollowell, Fairfield. Not Fairfield. Why do I always... What is it? And then it turns into Gardner. Yeah, Farmingdale, thank you. Hollowell, Farmingdale, and then Gardner. Farmington is out past Jay. Livermore and Jay. So I don't know, the adults around here, people, I don't really talk to too many people. They don't want to talk to me because most of them are doing things they shouldn't be doing. And the ones that aren't, I don't know, don't seem to care too much or think they're part of some investigation and stay silent too. I don't know. It gets really fucking old and stupid. How many years? Like every year there's new investigations ongoing. Nobody can say anything. And the children just continue to be fucking abused and tortured. Innocent people killed, killing themselves, freak accidents. People who come in to try to look into things, they get targeted. Their kids get targeted all the fucking time. You can't do anything about it. It was an accident. I just want people to know that. I hope people understand that, to those of us who have been traumatized and sickened by these things since we were children and are lucky to have survived. We were put on training, surveillance, and rehab programs when we were 18 because of the issues with ourselves and people around us. These concerns have been going on for quite some time with different things. Well, that's what's interesting. People talk about that. The child molester who went to prison when we were kids, I was about 10 or 11. This gentleman lived with us. He was a Taekwondo teacher. He owned one of the places here in Augusta. He was also a DARE officer. Very nice guy, I thought. He was a full-blooded Indian. Taught me how to break boards with my head. He was really cool. Yeah, for me, I was more concerned about the photographers and the guys and people kind of around my elder siblings and stuff. Well, you had people involved with the drugs and the photographer people. Some of them seemed connected, yeah. I was young, so I really couldn't put two and two together too much, but... And I can remember one time at one of my sister's pageants, the gentleman who went to prison for child molestation, he seemed like he got really angry when certain people who were conducting or doing some of the orchestration for the pageant, some of them really seemed to piss him off. I remember watching him, and his temple and his jaw over here would start to pulse, and his arms he'd cross. And he'd see certain people and that start to pulse. You could just tell it was really angry. Yeah. Well, you hear things, you know, in people. And I think there was more concern for a lot of people orchestrating that stuff and people associated. And that's what's sad and concerning, is you see a lot of people are good people and they just kind of work within that sphere and wouldn't be okay with the abuse. And if you try to accuse their colleagues of doing anything, you're crazy and insane. It's very frustrating. I don't know. What did they end up putting him away for? It's interesting though when you actually look at the cases and what happens with a lot of these things. And oftentimes, what happens is in those situations, usually most of the time, is the girls or the men in the spotlight doing the pageants or the modeling, or those aren't usually the ones who get abused and targeted at the more serious levels. Yeah, you can talk to them, and sometimes they might, be upset about a deal. Well, they were treated wrong. Yeah, he's a womanizer. Maybe some uncomfortable fondling. But aside from that, the horrible, horrible abuse with people who, yeah, well, usually mentally ill. They like to target the mentally ill. Mm. Yeah, I've noticed that. It's a bad habit. It's not something I usually do. So sorry. Yeah, no, and then we're dealing with people in the systems who don't seem to care too much, and they're very serious. Everything going on in the world, and he's actually standing up there. She's giving him a hard time about the transgender stuff. It's 2025. I have no words. I'm totally fucking speechless when it comes to a lot of that stuff. Right, and then when you see the people who are trying to criticize any little thing, absolutely insane. And as far as them, you see a lot of these people too in the debate who are protecting a lot of this shit and concerned about the transgender stuff and proving people to be crazy, such as myself. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm crazy. Who cares? I'm fucking nutty. Totally insane. It'd be a miracle if I wasn't. I tell you, I'd be patting myself on the back non-stop if I wasn't totally fucking wacko. In this environment, you'd have to be inhuman and heavily medicated to be okay in this environment. Well, I mean, we're okay, but we're not okay with it. It's not okay. It is not okay. And so they have a problem with us speaking up about that. And my mom's upset because that's a good man who takes good care of those children. And they've had to deal with me. I know, it's horrible, isn't it? It's actually very sad because when I look at them and I see the stupidity and trying to help them over the years, and even the private investigator in 2009 before he shot himself, trying to help them and just talk to them like human beings. And yeah, when he mentioned the Mayan stuff and the drug stuff, at that point, certain ones just don't care. Especially people like my dad who protects a lot of that shit, knowingly or unknowingly. They play so fucking stupid to it, and it's disgusting. They're involved with a lot of the drug trafficking, illegal immigration trafficking, and then they try to make it look like the good businesses and other people. And they think they can get away with it, and it will just mix into the legal stuff. So as you can see, they are getting away with it, and they have been for a long time. What happens is the innocent people, the children being abused, and the ones trying to speak out about that, get harassed. Any little thing you say, and they jump right on you as though it's fucking harassment or abuse. But the serious things we're talking about and what's been happening over the years, and you try to speak up, and they're so disgusting and nasty with their ignorance that you want to call them a sick punk bitch, because that's exactly what they are for what they're doing. And when you tell them very nicely, hey, you're a sick punk bitch for saying that with what we're talking about and trying to acknowledge, and you don't even want to talk about those concerns and completely ignore us as though we're not human beings and our concerns don't deserve any attention because we're mentally ill, just like your mother. Really fucking disturbing, huh? Yeah, in the moment, you tell them very nicely, that's a very punk ass bitch thing to say. And because you're ignoring these things and continuing to protect those crimes and sick things and ignore people and treat them like animals, you're a sick punk bitch. And that's what I think. In the moment, you can say it very nicely, just as one human to another, because you think it's important people understand those things, that people are aware, and hopefully it does not continue and we can help with preventing it from happening to other people. We're already dead. Our children have already been fucked and tortured for years. They were vaccine injured in 2013. My first child was vaccine injured in 2006, and they ignored the experts and all the concerns. My second child, who I did not vaccinate in 2009, is my only child not severely neurologically damaged, who did not lose use of speech and have other severe damage. My only child is the only one I didn't vaccinate, and in 2009 they freaked out even more. They were already flipping out about other stuff from the Main Parent Federation, when we called them Hitlers, because they were ignoring, again, serious concerns about vaccine-injured children and the overprescribing of SSRIs. Yeah, how that damages the prefrontal cortex, similar to if you start drinking alcohol or using those kind of things early on. Overusing them, for sure, it can damage that prefrontal cortex. So they do correlate that a lot to women having children and being predisposed to some of those neurological or more sensitive. Yeah, for sure. Well, probably be a good idea to not do that either. You don't want to start drinking a lot of alcohol as a young teenager. Well, Mom said it was normal for where we were at, and I wanted to, so that's what she says. I've asked her before, why'd you let me do that? She says I liked it and I wanted to. So these are the kind of people we've been dealing with our whole lives. In 2008, when we were dealing with all that stuff, trying to focus on our first son, who was diagnosed with autism and going through a lot of treatment and therapy, I myself was going through the Lyme treatment and therapy. Amazing. Absolutely incredible and amazing. Oh, the Western medicine was definitely making us sicker. Clearly, it's like so starkly obvious over the years with not just my case, but a lot of other people. And the fact that that gets ignored and these people in the systems are freaking out about transgender stuff and trying to teach people like my dad a lesson for stuff from and we get it, right? We get it. We know he's an asshole. A lot of people say he's mean. A lot of people say he's the greatest guy they know. Hard worker, right? Having to deal with us heathens. I guess it depends on who you're talking to. Right, so when we're dealing with that, and then when all that started in the hazing and different things, they were shooting a movie here. There was a whole bunch of other stuff going on. The cheating scams and all that were in high gear. The private investigator shot himself in 2009. I had my second child, and they started freaking out because we called them Hitlers. So many things were going on, wasn't it? Yeah, and unfortunately, the people who are suffering the most are two young children who can't talk. And people think they're well taken care of. Absolutely fucking disgusting what people here are doing. I can't even. There's no fucking words for how fucking gross and disgusting this is. And anyone else who's listening and has been listening, it'd be really helpful for you to talk about how you get brought in. The animal activist groups, come on. We know we got your attention. 2012, 2016. And let it not be in vain. Come on. I know, right? What can you do? Yeah, hold on, I can play that.
It's complied immediately, by the way, that's good. But I understand Maine, is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with the state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding. Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX, to have an obligation, a legal obligation, and we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect.
That letter was sent to Maine Education Commissioner Pender Macon today. It says the federal office will make sure...
Yeah, so we are the people. They're the federal government. And unfortunately, we have people here in our state ignoring us. Yeah, Dad's actually friends with that bitch, isn't he? Remember when we came back from Canada? She pulled in her limo. Yeah, they rub elbows. Dad said they used to call her Cocaine Katie. So just what's happening here for people to kind of suck that all in and understand our children are being fucked and tortured while these adults play their fucking games and protect years of bullshit. Who cares? So people, you can spend all day going through that. We don't care about any of that. And that's what a lot of people are very focused and concerned on. So I guess that helps get to it somehow. I don't know. I really don't know. I wish I could answer those questions. Well, people sometimes ask me, why do I think they're ignoring it? Why this? Why that? I mean, deep down, inherently, I can't really say why or what's motivating people to be so fucking sick and disgusting and ignorant. As a human being, regardless of what you're protecting or think you're doing, how can you be okay? Right, and for them to be okay with it, they justify it, thinking we're crazy, it's not really happening. They're fucking sick and disturbed. So hopefully people start waking the fuck up and speaking up more and bringing attention to this situation. We're at the old Governor John Hill Mansion in Augusta, Maine. Who cares? I can't really do too much about that. Right, so for us at this level, think about, say you have a couple people in the room. You got one that's investigating shoplifting cases and one is investigating sex trafficking rings. Right, so when you're dealing with a lot of people who are just trying to go after shoplifters and you have whole other teams that are trying to bring down, right, and then all these middle people, you have a lot of the middle people. Yeah, so I don't know. It's really stupid, isn't it, with that? I don't know what you're asking me for. We've been on here for years reaching out. Hey, help. Anyone. Suggestions? We got fucking pedos here fucking our children. They're making foreign hoax channels with animal and child pornography. They're crossing wires and fooling people and strong-arming whole communities. Any suggestions? You want to help? So yeah, when you ask me, if I fucking knew, wouldn't I do it? Right, so that's what we're telling you is we have been deemed crazy and insane back in 2012, 2013. Yeah, they took over. They vaccinated our youngest two children behind our backs with the sick punk, with the help of the sick punk. And they're all going along with it. Yeah, dangerous. They're going to kill other people. They're going to spread the measles. And someone down in Texas, they just have a measles outbreak. Yeah, it's probably the Mainers that moved down there. Thank you. Hi, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. I don't know. I wish I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's cute. Until it gets offline, you know? Get it back on there. It's a combination, really. Neck, jaw, shoulder. Yeah, I was left for dead in the woods a couple times, actually. I deserved it, though. Yeah, I deserved it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. See how we don't care about any of that? Just all little tidbits that maybe help people understand the situation and what's going on here. We're trying to help children who can't talk, being fucked and tortured, who are very neurologically damaged from the vaccines after they vaccinated them against our wishes in 2013. Yeah, and the person who has them, when you look at the child abuse case they have in prior cases, yeah, other concerns where they came up out of prison system and stuff. Excuse me. Yeah, I could get gurgly. It's because I wasn't sipping water. If I don't sip water with my coffee, it can make me a bit gurgly. Yes, the acidity. It's good to have some lemon water with it. It's really good. The lemon acidity kind of counteracts the coffee acidity a little bit. Should go actually make some. I have some lemons out there. Yeah, you know, we should focus on ourselves and care and pamper for ourselves. And when we have to put so much attention, when people are doing such horrible, sick things and wasting the state's time and money on their bullshit, this is disgusting. I can't believe what the fuck these people are doing.
Taxpayers are not funding blatant.
What's that? Yeah, so for some of those people, you get people like